Hello guys, welcome back to Escape from Tarkov. A bit of an intermediate video in between my Nope series, sort of slow pacing through the whole questline and all that kind of stuff. That's what we're doing at the Nope at work. Meanwhile, I'm almost on episode number 12, I think. But I already done a couple of Gunsmiths. Now, if you follow that Nope series, you might have seen that I'm not really running around trying to loot for money or something, and that is because there is quite some money in the Gunsmith quest line as well. So you don't have to worry about money too much if you do your gunsmiths whenever they are available. You can get quite some money out of that. If you go to mechanic, he will give you the gunsmith quest line. And as you can see, there are several parts, 16 in total, I believe. I have not done all of them myself, but there is some money in there. It starts off with Gunsmith part number 1, where you have to modify an MP133 shotgun given certain requirements. In this case, the ergonomics of the weapon needs to be above 47. He wants a laser on it, he wants an extended mag, less than 950 recoil sum, which means this is the vertical recoil and the horizontal recoil added together. Needs to be less than 950, and it needs to be compact, not more than 4 cells. That is sort of Gunsmith part number 1, and then it keeps going on like that. Gunsmith part number 4, where you have to modify an M4A1, gives you 1 physical Bitcoin. These things are worth around 660,000 at the moment. That means that you get this thing as a reward. You can sell them to therapist. She gives you a bunch of rubles for it. So there is one here in part number 4. If you go Gunsmith part number 6, where you have to modify an R11 RSASS, it gives you 3 Bitcoins. So that is 4 already. And if you go to Gunsmith part number 8, where you have to modify an AKM, it gives you 2 Bitcoins. I don't think there are any others in there, but if you do at least the first 8 parts of the Gunsmith, you will have received 6 Bitcoins, each worth about 650,000 rubles. You can do the math on that. It's somewhere between 3.6 and 4 million, depending on the Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin goes up and down, it fluctuates a bit, more or less similar to the similar market of the Bitcoin in real life, and that's sort of why this thing is also going up and down. Can be 40-50,000 difference if you check today compared to tomorrow. So yeah, there is about 3.5 to 4 million. As you can see, we are just over 4 million, because of course, to modify these weapons, you also need to spend some money. For instance, that number 6 there, that R11 RSAS, you need to buy that gun, unless you luckily found it. There are not that many people running around with it, but you never know. You might shoot a guy who had one running around, then you might be able to get your hands on it. But in general, you're going to have to buy it on the flea market. Once you are level 10, you have access to the flea market, and then you can buy many of these things, which makes it a bit easier. It does, in a way, misses the ball a little bit, because the whole idea of this thing is obviously to get acquainted with modifying weapons. And that brings us to the first requirement when you want to start doing this gunsmith. As a new player, you have your hideout. Now, you might not be doing your hideout. There are some people out there who don't care for this hideout, although it gives you all kind of bonuses and less time and more generation of your health and energy and stuff like that. All these stations come with certain bonuses. The workbench, at least you can craft all kind of stuff in there. That's not even that important when it comes to the gunsmith, but you need to have it on level 1. To have it on level 1, you need I think 6 bolts, 6 screw nuts, and 1 Leatherman multi-tool. In the beginning you do not have the market, so you cannot just buy these bolts and nuts and whatnot. So you're gonna have to find them on the map. You can find them in duffel bags, file cabinets, ground stashes, and stuff like that. Once you have your 6 bolts and 6 screw nuts, then you can go to, I think it is mechanic, level 1, and you can just press on this S symbol here, which is special equipment, and it will show you the Leatherman multi-tool. You can buy that from him for 23,000 rubles. Potentially you can find it on the map, but I have never seen it, so I don't think you can actually find it on the map. So you just have to buy that from him for 23,000 rubles. That will upgrade your workbench to level 1. You sort of unlock the workbench in a way. And that gives you the options to be able to mod your weapons. If you have a weapon, for instance, I have that shotgun here for Gunsmith part number 1. Now, what you can also do, also for this, already for this Gunsmith, is if you go to the task for mechanic, this is something that has changed over time, because in the past, I think you need to be level 10 or 15 even to even unlock a task line from mechanic, but now they are available from the beginning. And that also means that you have introduction as one of your first quests from mechanic. And he wants you to find Jaeger's camp and find the message from him, extract with that message, hand it over to mechanic, which will unlock Jaeger, which is your last trader on the line. It's the only one which is locked when you start playing the game. Why is that important? Well, because he sells some of the things on level 1. So if you have Jaeger unlocked, the Jaeger camp is on the woods map, by the way. You can find it on the wiki if you don't know where exactly it is. And it is kind of important. For instance, Gunsmith part number 1, if you cannot find that shotgun, which is not likely because the scabs are running around with it quite a lot, so you will probably be able to find one. In case you don't find one, if you have Jaeger unlocked, you can buy one for 23,000 rubles. You can buy it from him in case you do not find it. What he also sells on level 1 is the 133-153 pistol grip. This is also something you can buy it from him for 6,000 rubles, and you will need that to be able to get the requirements for that gunsmith. If you go gunsmith part number 1, we just went over it earlier. 47 ergonomics or higher. He wants a laser, extended mag, less than 950 recoil, and compact, not more than 4 cells. And that's where the pistol grip comes in, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells. Original, it is 5 cells. So you need to make it shorter, and you do that by removing this stock and put a pistol grip on it. And that's why you need the workbench. You can right click on any weapon, and you can click on modding. It will show you sort of this screen. What are you going to find in here if you click on these arrows on all of these things? Not much, as you can see. And the reason for that is, we have a few options here, but that's about it. So that's not much that I can find here on this thing. And the reason is, when you click on modding, it shows you all of the options available that you have in your stash. If you have some of these parts sitting in your stash, for instance the pistol grip, then it will show you the option over here for the pistol grip. But I don't have one in my inventory at the moment, so it's not giving me the option. So instead of right clicking and modding, we're not going to do that. We're going to click on edit preset. So it gives you the same thing happening. But if we click on these arrows now, it gives you all the options available to mod this thing. Now, what does it show you this time? It shows you everything that you have examined, which is also kind of important, because if there is something out there which you have not found or seen yet, you not have examined it yet, then you're not going to get it as an option here. In this case, it doesn't matter that much. Later on, it kind of matters. There might be some specific parts that you need for other of these gunsmith builds, If you haven't seen that part around, you have not examined it, you will not be able to find it. But later on, once you are level 10, you can go to the flea market and you can, for instance, type in something like scope. If you type in scope, it's going to give you a list of scopes. You can click on these scopes, like this one for instance. I have not seen it, I can right click examine it, and you can do that for all these scopes. You have scopes and scope mounts, everything related to scope. It will show here if there is something you have not examined, examine it, in case you ever need it later on. And you can go, the rest I have seen already, one part or another. So you do it with the scopes. And if you type in grip, you can do exactly the same. It will not only show you the pistol grips, but also foregrips and tactical grips and everything which related to grip. Go over them. If there are some you have not discovered yet, make sure you examine them. That will help you throughout the Gunsmith questline later on. Now, so over here on the left you have info. If you click on that, it opens up and it shows you the numbers. Most of these gunsmith requirements, they always have some numbers. Ergonomics, he wants a certain number. It needs to be higher than that number. High ergonomics is kind of important. Recoil, it needs to be lower than a certain number. Low recoil is obviously kind of important. Makes your gun a bit more stable. Sometimes he has weight requirements, not specifically for this first part of Gunsmith. Sighting range, sometimes he wants 800 meters or 1500 meters or something like that. Then you need to play around with scopes and things like that. Now in this case he wants 47 ergonomics, the recoil sum, which is the vertical recoil and the horizontal recoil, you need to add those two together, needs to be below 950. And he also wants 4 cells. The weapon as it is now is 5 cells. So what we're going to do, we're going to put on that pistol grip, which you can get from Jaeger level 1. You can just buy it for 5,000 rubles or whatever it is. That makes it 4 cells already. So we have already got the first requirement. The rest, the barrels and so don't matter that much. Now, we have 50 ergonomics, that is fine. We do have a problem with the recoil now. By pisting on the pistol grip, the recoil went up and it's no longer under 950, it's 1020 something, so it's too high. Now, he also wants a laser on it. Now, you can say, okay, we put on these prods, which gives you a sort of a mount to put the laser on, and then you get a bunch of lasers, also here, all the ones that you have examined. There might be more tactical devices around. It's flashlights and lasers mostly. But the most interesting one probably will be the tactical blue laser, the TBL. Why is that the most interesting one? Because you can get that thing from skier level 1, I think. You can just buy it for a few thousand rubles. Now, if you look at that, looks to be nice. We have 4 cells, we have a laser on it. Our ergonomics are 48, which is higher than 47. But we still have a recoil problem here. The recoil is still over 1000, it needs to be below 950. Which means we're gonna have to play around a little bit more with some stuff. The mag is fine. It has a 6 mag. You have 4, 5, 6 or 8 available. 6 and 8 are considered to be extended. He wanted an extended mag, so you can put on 6 or 8. But we have a 6 in this. This is, I think I bought one from Jaeger to showcase this. So if you buy the shotgun from Jaeger, it already has the extended mag in it, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, we can also put on some sort of muzzle brake, potentially. Here you have the Remington Tactical Choke that you can put on. and that will bring down the recoil. But it is possible that you cannot get your hands on. I think one of your traders sells it, but it's on level 2. If you find this weapon on a scap, the thing might have it. If it doesn't have it, then your other option, you can put this thing on, and that brings the recoil to 936. That would actually be good enough. But if you can't get your hands on it, then you can also get the cylinder, which I think you can get from Peacekeeper, level 1, and also the GKO2 muzzle brake, and that sort of does the same thing. As a matter of fact, it works even better because it brings the recoil down to 800 something. So it even brings the recoil lower than when you put on the Remington choke. The problem that you have with this one is that now our ergonomics are not high enough anymore. So if you put on the Remington tactical choke, if you can get your hands on this thing, either if you have it or if you have your traders high enough that you can buy it, you can just put this on and then it's ready to go. Then you can just go with this thing as it is. Ergonomics 48 is fine, it's more than 47. The recoil is 936, it's fine because it needs to be below 950. We have the extended mag in it, we have the TBL laser on it, we have a pistol grip, so it is 4 cells. You can turn this thing into a mechanic, he will take it, it is fine. If you can't get your hands on it, on this Remington tactical choke, then you can go with the cylinder and the GKO2. As you can see, but that brings the ergonomics to 46, which is a bit of a problem. And there is not much more we can change about it, given the numbers that we have here, and we need a tactical laser and so on. What we could do is we could take off this prot with a tactical laser. There we go, take it off. And change the handguard. You have this bleach-through thing here, but you cannot put any mount on that thing, which is a bit of a problem. But you can put on the custom plastic MP33 4-stock. You can put that thing on, and then you have availability of putting on the laser on the side here. It automatically comes, so you don't need a sprot. You can just put on that laser again. But as you can see, our ergonomics are back at 46. But unlike with the wooden 4-stock, with this plastic one, we have some options to put some things on here. And then you have 1001 foregrips available, as you can see. You can put on the vertical pistol grip and make it like this. So if you can't get your hands on the Remington, that is like only one part, which gives you the requirements for the Gunsmith part. But if you can't get your hands on it, then you have to go for the cylinder, the GKO2 muzzle brake, and then your ergonomics are no longer good. So then you have to change the wooden thing into the plastic one and put on a 4-stock grip here, the vertical grip, to bring the numbers up. Now our ergonomics are even 53, so that is more than good. So we can turn this thing in as it is. You might have some problems finding that custom thing, but if you go to mechanic level 1 and you click on these double arrows here, which are the barter items, you will see on the top row there, custom plastic MP133 4-stock. You can barter trade it with him. If you check out the computer on the map, you can easily find a hard disk, trade it in, and you have that plastic thing. For the other parts, I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure these things are available here or there. Skier level 1, you can get the TBL laser, so that fits fine in here. If you do have skier level 2, then you can get the Remington 12 choke thing, tactical choke. You can get it from him on level 2 if you have him on level 2. If you don't have him on level 2, then you have to go with that cylinder. And I think you can get that from, I think from Peacekeeper or something. Peacekeeper sells you on level 1. Pretty sure, yep. Level 1, the vertical pistol grip, which that's the thing that you put on that plastic forestock. So you can get it from him. What else do we need? Not much anymore, I think. No, we have the plastic forestock. You can trade with mechanic. You put on this vertical grip, which you can get from Peacekeeper. The laser you can get from Skier level 1, and you are good to go. Oh yeah, you need to the GKO2 thing to put on the cylinder. I think it is Peacekeeper or Skiers. Oh, level 1. We need to see what we can get on level 1, right? Or is it rapport? Somebody is selling it on level 1, I'm 100% sure. Because that's how I did it as well. Need to check it around if because the Remington is on Skier level 2, so yeah, that's a bit of a problem. And then as I've shown you, so you put on that pistol grip, you put on the plastic one, you put on the vertical pistol grip. You want the laser on it, so you need to put the laser on there on the side here. So we just use a TBL. That's the easiest one to get. Not sure where you put it. Oh, you put it on the other side. You can even put 2 on if you want. And then we need to bring down the something like this. That will go, and then you can save it as you type in a name, and it will save it in your presets, and so that you can find it later on. And if you're in your menu, you can just click on presets. If you now look at shotguns, MP133, Gunsmith part number 1, that's what I called it. And you can just open it. And there it is. That's sort of how I made. I even used the sprut. You needed the vertical pistol grip to use that thing, but I can take off the sprut and put on the laser on the side. That all doesn't matter that much. If you can get your hands on the Remington, then you do not need that plastic thing. Then you can just go with the wood one. Your ergonomics will be high enough. If you can't get the Remington, you need to go with the cylinder and the GKO2. Then you do need this vertical pistol grip. So this is Gunsmith part number 1. And then once you have that thing done, at a certain level you will have these gunsmiths unlocking. Like at the moment when I'm checking my gunsmith, let's see, I have number 12 here now, which is locked till I am level 23. But all the others sort of unlock pretty easily. So that's the shotgun. You can get it from Jaeger. You can get the plastic grip, the plastic forestock from Mechanic. Other parts you can get from Peacekeeper and Skier. So you can pretty much get things done with that. Number 2, we'll go over them quickly. I have some presets sitting here. Number 2 was the AKS-74U, I think. Kalashnikov. I think it was this one. Yep. Gunsmith part number 2. This thing is not that much that you need to change. You can find these things regularly on some scavs, or here or there in a ground stash or in a weapon case or something. You will find these things on the map. People usually do not loot them, so you might find them even on a dead body here or there. They're not that great, these things, but this is one of the easier gunsmiths if you look at it like that. You just need the B11 handguard. That's the only thing you need, which you can buy from Skier level 1, or you can trade it mechanic. He does trade for it as well. But yeah, it's only 5,000 rubles. I'm assuming people will have 5,000 rubles around to buy this thing. So you buy this because you need this B11. It's one of the requirements. It specifically asks for this part. Then you only have one option. You need to put that thing on. So you put the B11 handguard on it. That gives you the option to put a foregrip on it. Again, the KAC vertical pistol grip, the same that we used on the shotgun. We buy it again from Skier, I think it was level 1. You can just buy it. And then you look at the numbers, and then it might be possible that you are 1 or 2 points too high. I think it needed to be 56 or something ergonomic, so I have exactly 56. I had the AK-12 regular pistol grip sitting here, so I put that one on instead of the normal one which is on here, which gives you 2 points too low ergonomics. So I needed to put on my when it comes to AKs, you can always put on this RP1 charge handle. That will always give you 1 ergonomics more. So the ergonomics will always go +1. If you're just missing one port and it's involving AKs, put on this thing, will give you 1 point more. For future, there are a few more Gunsmith, but that's sort of it. So you need to buy the B11. You can just get it from Skier. Vertical pistol grip, I think you can get from Peacekeeper or Skier as well, one of those two. And then you probably want another pistol grip here on the rear as well. And what is this? This is the 60 round 6L31. That is also something that he wants. Now, if you have your laboratory, you can potentially make these things. These 6L31 60 rounders, if you don't find them on the map, you can craft them in your hideout by, I think it's 4 30 rounders with 1 keg tape. And then you can turn this thing in. I do believe you need to fold the stock though, once you have this thing. Because also this one, it needed to be compact, but it has a foldable stock on it, so you can just fold in that stock and then will be good enough. That is number 2. Number 3 is a bit more of a thing, which is an SMG, more specifically the MP5. It is a bit, yeah, you're gonna have a bit more troubles with that. You can get this depending on what you have. Is it Peacekeeper? Yeah, it's Peacekeeper. If you go Peacekeeper level 1, that's the way it comes. He only barter trades this MP5. You can easily get it for, you find always these knives on these caps. 8 of these brown knives will get you this MP5. Once you are level 10, you can get him to level 2, and that is kind of what you need with him here to make this happen. Because this is a normal MP5 and you sort of have to convert it into an MP5 SD. If you have level 2, then you can still barter trade it. There it is. So you can still barter trade it, but if you have him on level 2, you can also just buy the gun for $311. But he has some things sitting here in level 2, so you kind of want to get him to level 2. Because there are some things which, yeah, it's a bit double in a way with this one. So this is part number 3 that we are doing now. So and it is a bit double, because once you are level 10, you can upgrade him to loyalty level 2. But at the same time, you have the flea market once you hit level 10, so you can get some stuff there. The thing is, you can get it cheaper though from him. So what do you need to be able to convert this normal MP5 to an SD? You have the MP5 SD handguard. You can get it from him for $53. You have this $42 MP5 SD 3-rail ring mount. You also need that one. For $257 you can get the MP5 SD suppressor. That's another one you need. And there's one more part that you need. Now I need to think myself which one it was. Oh yeah, the this thing here, $76. The MP5 SD upper receiver. So if you have them on level 2, those are 4 parts. The handguard, the upper receiver, the silencer, and the 3-rail ring mount. Those 4 things you can get from Skier, and then you're already almost there, I think. Let's have a look if it needs something more, which I forgot about. Oh yeah, there is one thing you're gonna have to buy, because this is the upper receiver over here, MP5 SD. You can get Peacekeeper level 2. The handguard, Peacekeeper level 2. The suppressor, Peacekeeper level 2. You need the 3-rail ring mount, also Peacekeeper level 2. You need that thing to be able to put again that laser device on it. He wants a laser, so again, Skier level 1, the TBL tactical blue laser will do just fine. Other than that, you don't need anything except for it needs a 50 round mag, which as far as I know you can't get from anyone, at least not low level. You might be able to get it for loyalty level 3 or 4, so yeah, this thing you're gonna need to buy on the market. You have the market available, otherwise you cannot have Peacekeeper on level 2. Peacekeeper level 2 you can only do once you are level 10 or higher, and that means that you have the market available as well. So you're gonna have to buy that 50 round drum mag, because that's what he wants. And then your numbers will be correct. He wants certain ergonomics and certain recoil and so on. I think the recoil needs to be under 250 or something. We have 182. Ergonomics need to be 48 or more. We have exactly 48, so that is fine. If it's exactly the number that he requires, it's also fine. That is number 3. Number 4, you might have to spend some money on there, obviously. But keep in mind that for number 4, you will be rewarded with a Bitcoin, which is worth about 660,000 rubles at the moment. So it doesn't matter that much, at least that's how I see it, that you have to spend some money on it. The M4A1. Now, let's have a look. The MK12 low profile gas block. You can get, I think, from Skier level 1. So this is definitely something you can get your hands on. He wants a range of 800 meters, I think. The easiest way to do that is you buy the 25mm ring mount, and then buy the PLAT 4.32 rifle scope. Both of them you can get from Jaeger level 1. So you can get the mount as well as the scope itself. So these are all things that you can get from the traders. The mag, you have two, it wants a 60 round mag. You have 2 magazines available. This one, and then the drum, the round one. But the drum, this one has a requirement for weight, and if you put on the this one here, the drum, you have 3.7 kilograms. The gun needs to be below 3.6 kilograms. So this thing, it's also a 60 round mag, but it weighs 400 grams more. So advisable to use the other one. If I can find it, here it is. And with this magazine, the gun is only 3.3 kilograms, which is within the requirements of this Gunsmith part. What might be a problem is the Magpul M-Lock 4.1 inch. You might have to, if you look on the flea market, very often it is not available. You can stay there and try to refresh and hope that Fence or so comes up with it at one point, or some player puts it up there and you can snatch it in time. You might be able to get it. If not, mechanic. It traces it for a USB. So you can get it over here as a trade. I don't know if it's level 1 though. It is level 1. So level 1 mechanic, the 4.1 inch mount. It does not sell it, but you can trade it in for 1 USB. Pretty sure you can find one of these things out there on the map. If you don't, just go to the flea market and buy one. I think it's like 2,000-3,000 rubles or something on the flea market, this thing. So that is where that thing comes from. Otherwise, it's just a stupid little mount in a way, but it is a bit of a problem, that thing, to get your hands on that. You need some sort of pistol grip to make the numbers count. I had a Mo. You can probably also use checking to see. You have two. You have the black one and the other one. No, it has to be one of those. You need to use one of those, because if you don't, then I think it needs 51 ergonomics. Then you go below it. So yeah, you have to use this one. One of the Magpul Mo AR-15 pistol grips. Either the black one or the what is it? The Dark Stealth or whatever it's called. So you need a 60 round mag. You need a pistol grip. You also want some vertical grip. And that's why you need that 4.1 inch guide mounting. So I put a Cobra on it. Why the Cobra tactical grip? Because that gives you the best. If you can get the 40 shift tactical grip, which is a bit of a problem to get sometimes, even on the market, that sort of does the same thing. But all the others are going to give you lower ergonomics, so there's a bit of a problem. So either you use the 40 shift grip, or you use, as I did here, the Cobra. Maybe you have it sitting on there in your inventory. You find a lot of these things. That's why from the beginning, if you find some of these things on the map, it could be advisable to go just go to the wiki and type in Gunsmith, and you will see all the parts shows up, and go over all the requirements that they suggest there. On the wiki page, they are suggestions. The idea of this whole Gunsmith thing is that you get acquainted with the modding and get acquainted with certain parts, and so, which will be returning. You will see, you do a few AK builds, these parts are coming back from time to time. I don't know if it needed specifically the GL shock stock over here, but that thing is not something you can just put on. That also means that you need a buffer tube. You can use the Colt A2 or the Colt buffer tube. For this one, the ADAR might work as well. You just need something where you can put a stock on, and that's why you need these buffer tubes. And then you can use a few, but I think I needed to use the... It's possible that the one of the requirements was that he asked for a GL shock stock. But next to that, this thing also gives you the low recoil ergonomic thing, sort of very helpful sometimes. This thing will come back in one of the next builds as well. When it comes to recoil and ergonomics and so, yeah, we also have this thing here. You need the Warcomp flash hider so that you can put on some suppressor, and that suppressor cannot be any of these long ones, because then the ergonomics go too low or the recoil goes too high or whatever it is. You need to use the mini monster. So these are indeed parts that you're gonna have to buy, but keep in mind this one, if you turn it in, gives a Bitcoin. So you might spend 80, 100, a bit on the, depending on the prices on the market, 100, 120, 140,000 for all the parts you need to buy. But you get 650,000 in return from it. So what else do you need? The Magpul Mo SL thing over here, because otherwise you can't put anything on there. I think it even requires the Mo thing on there. So the only thing you can buy from traders is the low profile gas block, the 25mm ring with the Pilat scope that will give you the range requirement of 800 meters that you want. The Mo pistol grip you might be able to get from one of your traders. If you have your traders high enough, you can get all these parts from traders, but that is the thing with this. You do these things while you are still upgrading your traders. So that's sometimes where the difficulty comes in, that you cannot get these things from your traders. But that is sort of number 4, which will give you a Bitcoin. Number 5. Good question. I need to check that, what number 5 was again. Oh yeah, the DVL. Let's have a look at that one. That's a marksman rifle. Bolt action thing. Gunsmith part number 5. There it is. This one is also sort of similar like the second one. Not that difficult. You can buy this gun for, I think about it for about 65,000 rubles on the market. And it came like this. He had the overmolded rubber grip on it. So other than that, I didn't have to do that much on it. The biggest problem you're going to have here is with the scope. He wants some sort of laser device on it or something. Again, the tactical blue laser again from Skier level 1. This is like the third build already where we are using that thing. The biggest requirement here is he wants a 2000 meter sight range. And that's where your problem more than likely will come in. You need the 34mm mag mount, and you need the Night Force rifle scope. Both of them you cannot get. Jaeger sells the 25mm on level 1, and the 30mm I think he barter trades, but the 34 you cannot get on level 1. But it might be possible at level 15 you can get Jaeger to level 2, and I believe it is a barter trade for I think for a propane tank or something. So if you have him on level 2, then you can get it there. If not, you're just gonna have to buy it on the market. So here I did not have that weapon. If you do come across it, you can always pick it up, but if not, you can just buy it. The prices, obviously, as always with these things, they might vary depending on when you are playing after a wipe. You are playing early wipe, mid wipe, or late wipe. Prices might vary on these things, but this is sort of, let's say, mid wipe. We are about 2.5 months after a wipe, and the next one probably will be somewhere in May or June. So yeah, we're somewhere in the middle of a wipe at the moment. So for this one, yep, you buy the gun, get the tactical laser from Skier, and then you need to get your hands on the 34mm mount and the Night Force scope. I think that's one of the only ones that goes to 2000 meters. So There might be others, but in this case, if I'm not mistaken, he asked for the Night Force rifle scope, so you need that specifically one. That is part number 5. So yeah, this thing, you get some money from it or something, but nothing with bitcoins or anything. So you're gonna spend some money on this one. But you have the Bitcoin exchanged from the previous Gunsmith part, so you will have some money around. Let's see. Yeah, we can do a few more. Now we are going over it. This thing here, on the other hand, it's another one of those. You're gonna have to spend some money on it, but it gives 3 bitcoins. 3 bitcoins is about 2 million. So you can spend a few on it, because you know you will get 2 million in return. I have not seen this weapon either, so I had to buy it on the market. I think I paid about 110,000 rubles for it, for the gun itself. So we'll see what it is. That's a marksman, I think. Yeah, Remington R11. What are the problems here? Not so much immediately. Yeah, we needed a pistol grip, so I put on the Mo again. This time I used the beige one instead of the black one. You can use the black one as well if you want. We'll have the same requirements. When I bought the gun, this Colt A2 buffer tube was on there with the PRS Gen 2 stock. If you don't have that, yeah, you Gen 3s, but Gen 3s probably give you even less. Yeah, the Gen 3 even gives you 1 ergonomics more, but this thing came from the market with the Gen 2. It's good enough. I think the ergonomics need to be 20 or more. This one is 22, so it is fine. What are the problems with this one? The 30mm mount is a barter trade with Jaeger, so you can get it from there. And then this one needs a 1500 meter range, so you can use the Voodoo 1.6 rifle scope. Let me have a look. There was another one you could use. The Leopold Mark IV LR rifle scope also works. Also gives you a range of 1500 meters. It also does not change ergonomics or recoil. Gives you 5 grams more weight or something, but that doesn't matter. I think the weight needed to be under 6.6 kilograms or something. So yeah, the 5 grams are not going to make it that much difference. So you can use the Voodoo or you can use the Leopold Mark IV. Those two have a range of 1500 meters. There might be some others, but then I have not examined them yet, so they did not show up here in my options. But the 30mm scope, you can barter trade it with Jaeger or just buy it on the market. That is an option. I think the biggest problem that I had here was with the Magpul M-Lock tactical grip. This thing here. That thing is a bit of a problem to get my hands on. Next to that, it wants a silencer. I just used the direct thread mount adapter for the Hybrid 46, and then of course the Hybrid 46 silencer itself that gives it a silencer. There might be some other options. You always need to check that your ergonomics and recoil numbers are still fitting. This, the way you see it here, works. You turn that thing in. It might cost you, I think I paid in total with the pistol grip and the lock and the silencer. The silencer, yeah, that's where I saved a bit of money. I think I had that sitting in my inventory somewhere. Also, that is also something, before you buy these parts, check your weapons. You might actually have them sitting somewhere. One of the rewards of these Gunsmith is, for instance, a PP91 Zenit. That thing comes with all kind of Zenit parts. Keep that thing around, you're gonna need them later. it has all the parts that you need for one of the AK builds, which is upcoming later in number 8 or number 9 or whatever it is. Make sure you keep that thing and don't just sell it. You need the parts. It gives you the parts as a reward. One of the early ones, actually. One of your quests gives you that thing. Otherwise, you're gonna have to buy them, obviously. So you can save some money there. Gunsmith part number 6. Number 7. Well, we can keep going till till 11 because the other ones I do not have. The Remington M870. Let's have a look. This is a shotgun again, part number 7. Yeah, here I had some issues for finding certain things. We have that Magpul 4.1 inch thing again, trade, level 1 mechanic. You can trade it in. I showed you earlier, what was it again? USB or something, you can get that thing. And then you need to put a stock on it. A foregrip, a pistol grip, and laser it wanted as well. And I think to get the requirements for the ergonomics, and so he also wanted the... we have that Remington tactical choke again, like the same as in Gunsmith part number 1. You could potentially replace this with the cylinder and then the GK02 muzzle brake on it. That also works if you can't find the Remington. We have that TBL laser again. Skier level 1, you can get that. That's not a problem. It does need the Magpul Mo M874 stock, which is this thing here. You do need to get your hands on that. I don't immediately think that any of them is selling it, so yeah, you're gonna get your hands either on the map or you have to buy it on the market. And this time I did use the PRS Gen 3 grey stock. That will automatically put this thing with a pistol grip. The problem that I had here was I couldn't get the numbers to Mitch and Max. Because I think if I looked on the wiki, I thought, okay, what's the problem? I looked on the wiki and it suggested this vertical pistol grip, but then your recoil is too high. So although the wiki suggests all these parts and then it says like put on a vertical pistol grip, it's not always updated. That has to do with the fact that they are changing, not the gunsmiths itself, but they are changing recoil and ergonomics on some of these parts the whole time. They are constantly balancing it out, and that has some influence on some of these gunsmith parts from time to time. And this was one of them where I found like, this doesn't work. So the only one that I could put on was the B25U RK1 Zenit foregrip to make, I think the recoil was the biggest problem. Vertical recoil 244, horizontal recoil 306, together that is 550 and it needs to be 550 or below. If I put on any of the other stocks here, the numbers go too high on the recoil. So this is has something to do with one of these things where they have changed the recoil or the ergonomics on the part itself recently. And that is, so I have to go with this side grip sort of thing. But this one works. I turned it in. What I did, you need to pay attention that sometimes mechanic will not take the thing and then you think like, what is going on? My numbers are correct. Like for instance with the DVL, I think that was the case. Take out the magazine. He does not want the magazine. The DVL saboteur in part number 5, I think it was. Gunsmith part number 5, take out the magazine. If he doesn't take it, always check. Sometimes you need to fold the weapon, sometimes you need to take out the magazine before he actually takes. So that is also something that you need to take in consideration. That is the Remington. Let's have a look at the next one. Where are we? Part number 8 now. Again, 2 physical bitcoins. So again, it gives you 1.2, 1.3 million rubles as a reward. So yeah, that can already suggest that it might gonna cost you some money. Now in this case, it's kind of okay, I think. What does it want? It wants a silencer, if I'm not mistaken. I have the PBS1 silencer on it. You do need, that's probably going to be your biggest problem to get your hands on this thing, which is the Fortis Shift Tactical Grip. He wants specifically this one. So you cannot use any other one, he wants this one on it. He also wants a Magpul 30 Mag, the PMag 30 AK, that is this one, will work just fine. And other than that, the AK polymer foregrip here, and he wanted 800 meter range. We come back to previous builds. 25 millimeter ring with the pilot will do just fine. That gives you 800 meter range. Both of them can be bought from Jaeger level 1. Pretty simple. And then you need to look at the numbers. I think you need 45 ergonomics. I have 45.5 here. So to be able to do that, I had to put on the RK3 Zenit pistol grip. That made the numbers sort of fit. You play around with these things a bit because you have a few pistol grips available. You can play around with it, but yeah, you can see it -7, -2, minus. So this is, if I put any of these on. So I had to check it, and I ended up with the RK3, which is a Zenit. Zenit is one of these things that will come back. And the Zukov S4AKs is the stock that I put on, because I think this is one which needs to be 8 cells, so you need to fold that stock. So you need to have a foldable stock for part number 8, and then you can turn it in. If you have the grip, silencer, the Mac, and then make sure that your numbers are what he wants. 800 meter range can be gotten with the 25 millimeter and the rifle scope. You do need a rail for that. You can use the Bastion dust cover, because I don't think, what does it have? It probably has the 6PP1 or something on it when you buy this thing standard, or when you find one on the map, or an AKM type dust cover. But you need one where you can put something on, and Bastion will do that for you. So Bastion, 25 millimeter ring mount, and the pilot sorta. That's the combo that you have on top there, and that will do it for part number 8, and it will give you 2 bitcoins. So you're gonna spend some money on the grip, on the silencer, potentially on the stock and the pistol grip, but it's not gonna be 1.2, 1.3 million, which is the reward for turning this thing in. You might spend 100,000, 150,000 on it, but far from the 1.3 million you get in return. Part number 9. I think we are now on the AKs or so. That's 10. I'm pretty sure it's an AK somewhere. Need to check it. Because now you have 2 which are pretty similar actually. I think I used most of the what's the AKS 74N. It is. So you have the AKS 74N on AKS 74. Okay, this one. And you have the AK 105 on part number 10, and they are pretty similar. Part number 9, as you can see, I have it folded here. Let's see. Yeah, this is the Zenit one. This pretty much wants an AKS 74N, which you I think you can even craft that if you want in your hideout if you can't find it. You also get it as a reward from one of the other quests that you do. So you might have your hands on him already. And other than that, it mainly wants Zenit parts. So everything needs to be from the Zenit brand in a way. Muzzle brake, the DTK1 from Zenit. The dust cover, the Zenit B33. And if you do that, you also want the foregrip and rail mount. I tried the B10, but the B10 and the B33 do not work together, so you need to use the BTM B19. Because you also have, which is also Zenit, the normal B10, but yeah, you can see it here, cannot install that together with the B33 dust cover, so you need to use the B10M. Other than that, it doesn't even need a foregrip here to make the numbers fit. It needs a 30 round, just a standard 30 round AK will do. What might be a problem is here the PT74S PT lock. You need the lock to sort of the same as with the M4 where you had the buffer tube to make that thing fit on there. You need a PT lock here to put on a foldable stock, which is the PT3 Classica stock. I think he specifically requires for that. You could also use the PT1 that also folds, I think, but in this case he wants the PT3 on there, and the Zenit RK3 pistol grip. So yeah, DTK Zenit, B10 Zenit, B33 Zenit, PT3 Zenit, PT74 PT lock, and the RK3 pistol grip. All Zenit parts. And then it needs to be 8 cells, so you need to fold it before you turn it in. Otherwise, it does not accept it. That's for part number 9. Part number 10 is pretty similar in a way. But this is the AK-105. But it pretty much comes down to the same thing. It needs a silencer. I used the DT mount with the Hybrid 46 here again. This one doesn't need Zenit parts, but to get the numbers, ergonomics and recoil match and mix a bit, you're gonna come back more or less with the same things. Meaning the RK3 Zenit pistol grip, the PT74 lock, and the PT3 classical stock, which can fold because it needs to be 8 cells as well. So this, 9 and 10 are pretty similar when it comes to the gunsmiths. Only this time he needs 800 meter range. So again, Bastion, 25mm ring, Pilot rifle scope, stuff you can get from Jaeger level 1. And this time I did use the B10. Because we are using the Bastion here and not the B33, I could use the B10 as well. If you use the B33 here, just like with the previous build, you need to use the B10M to make it fit. And then you need some foregrip thing here, tactical grip, which makes the numbers fit. I think we needed 48, so I ended up with the Cobra again, because the Cobra gives you the most points on ergonomics compared to another one. If I put another one on, you'll see the ergonomics -4, -2, -3. So yeah, it's not low enough. Needs to be 48, I think it was, and I have exactly 48. Which is also, I mentioned it already before, is this thing here, the RP1 Zenit charge handle. You can leave it out, but this is one of those things, it gives you +1 on ergonomics, and sometimes that's exactly what you need to get the requirements. So in this case I had put it in because otherwise we had 47, which is not good enough for this build basically. So this is the AK-105 for Gunsmith part number 10. Number 11, have I done that? Yeah, I've done that. I've done 11. Let's have a look. The ASVAL. Yeah, you need to play around a bit with that thing. because that definitely has some specific requirements. It needs a silencer. So that is the valve suppressor that I have on there. And then it needs a 30 round mag, which is the SR3M.1.30. That thing fits on there. Then I use the ASFL pistol grip buffer tube. So it gives you the pistol grip together with the buffer tube, and then you can put the stock on that buffer tube, which again here, to make ergonomics fit, the GL Shock is your best option. And then it wants this NSPUM night scope. He wants it on there. It's one of the requirements. You could potentially put on a scope eye cup if you want to make it look. The eye cup gives you a +6 on ergonomics though, so if you have some issues with that. And it needed a laser, and not just any laser, if I'm not mistaken. It wants specifically the ANPEQ15 tactical device. So we put that thing on there, more or less. And to put it on there, you might, let me see if I can take it off. Yeah, you need this 6P29M mount, which also seemed a bit of a problem. When I looked on the flea market, I could not get my hands on it. But yeah, you need that laser to have some grip somewhere. So you need, and this was the only thing. I think he even specifically asked for it. I couldn't find it on my traders. They were not high enough at least. And on the flea market also not available. But I waited a bit, I refreshed a bit, and suddenly there were 2 available, and I quickly snatched one of them so that I could put the NPEQ 15 laser device on it. You can put it on the side, you can put it on the bottom. It doesn't change that much for your stuff. That is it. That is sort of where we are at the moment. And then the next one, I need to wait till... so I have 5 more to do. Not that important. One of them gave 2 ammo cases. I think it could have been actually this one. So we have 2 of those ammo boxes where you can put your ammunition in. You get 2 of them for free from one of those Gunsmith things. And then we have some other stuff happening. I have another M4 sitting here. Part number 16 is another M4 that you need to modify. That's probably going to cost you, because that's that thing is a long list what he wants there. And this one I'm not sure, to be honest. This one I think is the next one that I need to do. But I don't know if this SICK MCX 300 Blackout actually works. It might be possible that I need to buy the normal SICK MCX. We will see. We're gonna have to play around again here with it. So yeah, you always start with something like this, and then you see what he wants. If he wants some flashlighter on there, maybe he wants a suppressor on there. He probably wants all kind of stuff on here again, and then certain numbers, which means you're gonna have to play around with potentially some vertical foregrip thing here to make it a bit more stable, to make the numbers fit. We will see what he wants. I have not unlocked it yet, so I don't know what he wants. And I also don't know if I can use this, because the build is based on, I think Mechanic sells it's the base one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he sells a very complicated one for barter trade if you want. There are all kind of things on there that might actually... this is that thing. The PP1901 Zenit. That is one of your quest rewards that gives you that. That thing is full of Zenit parts. If you inspect that, it has the RK3 pistol grip, it has the PT74 PT lock, it has the RP1 charge handle thing, it has the B10M rail mount, It has the PT3 Classica stock. So yeah, if you get this thing as your reward, keep it. You can use it on the AK builds, especially the one where you need all these Zenit parts. You can just take them off here. But we will see. Yeah, where is that gun here? I'm pretty sure he sells the normal one. Somewhere. Somebody sells the normal one. Can't seem to find it though. Peacekeeper maybe? Oh yeah, Peacekeeper sells it. The normal MPX, it sells it for $390. Peacekeeper also sells the M4A1, which you need for the one that we did there earlier, and also for the last one. So you can get that from him. You can also trade it for 3 CPU fans and 3 CPUs, which you can find easily in computers, these things. You can just trade a normal M4 with it. Let's see, $390 for the MPX, or you can also trade it for 7 dog tags, which are level 8 or higher. So level 8 players or higher, if you kill them, you can use the dog tags to trade it in for the MPX. The MP5, 8 of these brown knives, if you want to do Gunsmith part number 2. So that's where you can get the guns. And that will sort of be it. Some sort of intermediate video trying to get your focus a bit on the gunsmiths if you're playing this game. Don't just let them sit there and do them at the end, because you see, hear some people complaining like, oh, I always get shot and I lose so much money. That might be very possible, but this gives you a little bit money to work with. At least do them till part number 8. Part number 4, 1 Bitcoin. Part number 6, 3 Bitcoins. Part number 8, 2 Bitcoins. 6 Bitcoins in total. And then if you continue this thing with the gunsmith, I think the last one, which is part 16, when you complete that, I think you get a weapon case. So then you can put like all your weapons, instead of sitting in your stash all over the place, you can put them in a weapon case. That will be it for this one. The Gunsmith questline. Very interesting one, I find personally, because it at least gets you acquainted a bit with the modding. And once you start playing around with that, you indeed start to understand it a bit better. And you have certain things that come back. That of course also means that you're gonna have to have some parts around. That's why I have all these parts sitting here. Like for instance, these lasers. I know we need lasers from time to time, so keep some of them. I have a bunch of stock sitting here. I have a PT-74 lock sitting here. I probably have somewhere in here. I have suppressor sitting in here. I have the M-lock things, foregrips and such sitting here. Mounts that I have. You can use them for the gunsmiths. So I keep these things till I'm done with my gunsmith, and then I will sell the rest of these parts which I do not need. But you find all these things on weapons, and sometimes people just sell them because they think, oh, it's good money, and then later on they need to buy it for more money again to do their gunsmiths. But yeah, sometimes you make mistakes. Like yesterday, I look at the requirements for the ASVAL, and it needs this thing here, the NSPUM night scope. I had one sitting in my inventory, and I bought one from the flea market. So now I have a spare one. That's why I organized my stuff here a little bit later, so that I can find it and check it here. You can assemble it from the edit preset thing. If you are here, you can click on here on this thing here and assemble it, and then it will take the parts out of your inventory, and then the other ones it will show you the list. If you can buy them from the traders, you can immediately buy it on that screen, and then what you cannot buy from the traders will be on the bottom of the list, and then you just look for those 2 or 3 things on the flea market to get all the parts. And then obviously you need to put it together, which you can easily do by inspecting this thing. You want this thing out of here, generally put a plastic thing on to replace it, and stuff like that. In this case, it's not needed. In this case, I will just sell Jaeger his gun back. There we go. Still doing business with him to try to get him to loyalty level 2. The rest I have on loyalty level 2 or 3, so only Jaeger is a little bit behind. So we'll start working on that, and then we can do level 3 and go on. But yeah, you will see those shenanigans in the Nope at Work series. This was sort of an intermediate video about specifically the Gunsmith questline. That will be it for this one. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.